Hello beautiful people, welcome back to a new video. My name is Evelin Barta and today we will be discussing the energies of December 2022. So I will be talking about what kind of things will be dominant in the month of December, what planetary aspects are affecting our collective and so on. So we have been through a wild year and that has been like that since 2020 at least. So the energies are really speeding up and sometimes they are slowing down as well, but we are definitely experiencing a momentum and we are definitely experiencing wild energies and some tough moments as well. We are in a transitional period as a collective, as of humanity. We are transforming, and definitely the ways that we have been living up to this point is no longer applicable, is no longer giving us what we are needing. So there's a need for a rise in the human consciousness, and it is happening as we speak. So December 2022 will be again like a month of many things and also many beautiful heart-based energies as well. And it's very important in December for us to acknowledge where we are coming from and how far we have come really with our development. And the moment that we recognize how far we have come and then we are acknowledging our path and that it wasn't an easy one and how many things we have overcome this year as well, because it was a big shift in the human consciousness this year. It was a big shift for me as well. Definitely, I experienced some real upgradation that was coming with challenges as well. So I would encourage everyone to look at your lives and look at this year and then just write down a list, sort of like a gratitude list of things that you think that you have overcome this year, things that you think that you have transmuted this year, both karmically and then just in terms of your personal development as well, because I can guarantee you that you have come very far. And when you recognize these things and you acknowledge these things, that will bring ease into your lives and into those moments as well when you are feeling like you're out of place, you are out of balance and you don't find your way forward. So there were many things that healed this year for many of us, and it is still happening as we speak. And I have to say that it's worth the wild ride. It is definitely worth it because we will come out with much more knowledge about ourselves, with this inner wisdom, and that inner wisdom is the greatest investment, when we tap into that inner wisdom. So December feels busy as the month opens because there are some cosmic energies there that are floating by the first week of December. So the 1st of December, we will have Venus opposing Mars retrograde. Venus is the planet of the female principle and Mars is the planet of the male principle. And these two principles are opposing each other. And that can bring some tensions in ourselves when it comes to our masculine and feminine sides. So yeah, it's very important to acknowledge these two opposing sides and to understand that if we are experiencing the tension of the opposites, is because is wanting to draw our attention to how we can work together and how complementary these energies are and how we can use these complementary energies to our favor. So Venus has been active in the past weeks and now it can bring with this opposition very exaggerated energies. So our relationships with each other can be a very big theme at the beginning of the month. Our relationship with money as well can be a big theme because of this opposition. Our relationship with beauty, with our sensuality, how we are channeling our sexual energies. Mars is a very masculine planet. It is ruling, that inner fire, that sexual side of us. So it can bring some opposition and some tension in our sexuality as well. So we have to focus on ways that we can channel this energy in the best way, because it can get a little bit exaggerated as well. It's a very physical planetary aspect, and these high energies need to be released. Also, this transit will remind us to love our shadow side, to embrace our shadow side and to show some love to ourselves and to show some compassion to ourselves as well. And because Venus is the planet of love, it is about how we are giving love to ourselves and how we are returning love to ourselves as well. It can also bring some turbulence when it comes to our love life, and then it can open our eyes to the fact that there might be a very big attraction, but then we might want different things. But then that is also reminding us, and it's helping us to understand what the needs of others are and kind of to align with the needs of others. So to balance out our needs with the needs of the other person. And then on the 2nd of December until the 5th of December, we have the sun aligning with the royal star called Antares. So Antares is being considered by ancient traditions and ancient astrologers as a resting place for the souls that are leaving the earth plane, that are leaving their earthly bodies, and they are traveling to higher realms. And the souls in this resting place are being reminded of love. They are being reminded of them being a fractal of love, a fractal of source, and the embodiment of the universe itself. So this is a very powerful magnetic portal, is one of the most powerful and magnetic cosmic gates of the year that is opening at the end of the year. So at the beginning of December, basically. And when this royal star is aligning with the sun, it is unlocking very powerful galactic energies that beam down to earth, raising our vibration and aligning us with a higher purpose. So Antares is one of the 4 royal stars that the ancient astrologers were drawn to. And one of them is Aldebaran, the other one Regulus, Fomalhaut, and then Antares. So these 4 stars that the ancient astrologers were studying very much. These 4 stars are being considered the guardians of 4 corners of the sky, the gatekeepers of the 4 sacred portals. Antares is being considered the guardian of the western sky, the heart of the scorpion. So it's the heart. And that is why it's carrying some strong energies that are activating the heart chakra, that are unlocking higher wisdom and love. And not only love that we give and receive, but then also the love that we are, and the love that we are embodying in ourselves, with ourselves. So Antares is located in the constellation of Scorpion, but the arrow of Sagittarius, if we are looking at the constellation of Sagittarius, the arrow of it, Archer, is pointing directly to Antares. So it is pointing directly to the heart. And this stargate is a very, very powerful guide for leading a life filled with more passion, with more love, with more pleasure, and with more purpose. So it is reminding us of what love is and what our purpose is. So it's very important to embrace these energies and to receive these energies, because this is a powerful stargate. It will bring us this energy of reflection. It will help us to honor everything that we have achieved and let go of our regrets in life, and to start to celebrate love and to start to celebrate what we are. So it's a very beautiful energy. It's a very nice and love-based energy. And then also on the December 3rd, we have Neptune stationing direct. So Neptune has been retrograde for a while, I think since the end of June, so June 28th. This year, and now is stationing direct. Finally, we are being reminded basically to connect to ourselves, to our inner world, intuition as well, and to trust ourselves. So Neptune direct is meaning like a deep state. Neptune is being connected to a deep dream state of looking inward, of spirituality, deep spiritual connections as well, extra creative energy. So we might feel these extra creative energies around the 3rd of December, like coming to us. The fog that we have been experiencing collectively as well can clear out a little bit, and we might feel like we are gaining new perspective and new clarity. Neptune is also inviting us to connect to spirit again. And sometimes I was saying, I think in my last video, in my November energy update video, that sometimes Neptune is fogging our vision. So the only thing that we can do, because we have no other choice, is to look inward. And now that energy will be also clearing our path, even though the downside of Neptune is that it can bring some illusions. But that extra delusion and that extra fantasy, you know, that the collective has been experiencing now can clear up and can fade away a little bit, and it can inspire our imagination, and it can give us new faith now. So Neptune direct is about appreciating our ability to dream and our compassion as well. Neptune has the energy to fill in the missing blanks and to pull back the curtain on things that were not so clear for us, which has previously gone unnoticed. So we might notice things that we haven't noticed before. On the one hand, you can lose track or you can lose your grip. On the other hand, this transit can trigger imagination, inspiration, compassion, spiritual yearnings, and a renewed faith as well in what you are and what you are capable of doing. It is setting the potential on growth, but you might not recognize this potential immediately. So it might not get very clear first where the potential lies, even though you are being presented with many opportunities and many choices. But it's very important to look at nuances, to pay attention to different nuances and to read between the lines, because things might not be the way that you imagine them, so to speak. So pay attention to nuances. So Neptune being in Pisces, both Pisces and Neptune are having a great potential to expose archetypes. They have the energy of exposing these things. And they have also the potential to steer hidden potentials. So know that your potentials are being brought to the surface in this period. So pay attention to them as well. And then on the December 7th, we have Gemini full moon, and that can bring some fiery, volatile energies. These energies can be quite heated, and even though they are not as strong and intense as the energies of the blood moon eclipse, which we still feel the energies of, I can still feel the energies of this blood moon eclipse, but the energies of this full moon can be triggering certain things. So they can trigger the energies that we work with at this time. And this full moon is also aligned with Mars retrograde, and that can trigger our fears and the places that we are holding on, heated emotions. So maybe pay attention to where Mars is located in your chart and in what sign, and there is where we are holding these heated emotions, and those can be triggered. So hot button themes can come up in the world and in our personal lives as well. But this particular transit can fuel us to work on our passions and to get excited about life again, about what life has to offer. So it can give us this extra push, this extra energy. It can light up our inner world, our inner fire, because it's all about the fire that is within. So it's all about the ambition that is within as well. You could feel challenged, you could feel confronted, but you can also feel energized and driven as well by this transit. And then on the December 8th, we have Venus crossing the galactic center. And that is a deeply concentrated energy. And again, it can bring some expansion when it comes to our hearts, when it comes to love. It can help us expand our energy center, heart energy, the heart chakra. And then 10 days later, on the 18th of December, so until the 20th of December, we have the sun crossing the galactic center. And that is also like a supercharged energy. And it's an energy of untapped mysteries of the universe. And in this period, a galactic energy again is beamed to the earth. And that is giving us the possibility to raise our awareness and then a vibration as well. It is beaming the light into our cores directly. Connection to our star origin will be very accentuated in this time. We can connect easily to our star origin, to the stargates through which we incarnated to the earth plane. So it is about expansion in this life and then connecting to our origins, becoming more expansive, becoming more connected to the universe at large. And then on the 21st of December, we have the winter solstice. And on the northern hemisphere, this means that we are experiencing the shortest day of the year, when the darkness is starting to prevail in a sense. And the journey and the energy flows internally. So we are being guided to go within. It is the beginning of winter, basically. On the southern hemisphere is the opposite of that, is the beginning of summer, where there's an experiencing of the longest day of the year, when the journey begins to go externally. The flow of the energy is external. So we are being guided on the northern hemisphere to look at ourselves, not to be afraid of our inner world, of our inner dynamics. And then on the December 23rd, we have Capricorn, super new moon. So there's a new moon in Capricorn, and that is bringing fresh energies. There's an energy of starting a new path with less baggage. starting with this new, fresh enthusiasm in a sense. And Capricorn is being represented by the sea goat. And the sea goat has the ability to climb the tallest mountains and then to descend to the bottom of the sea. And the sea goat doesn't have a very easy journey. It's a challenging one, because to climb with only two legs and then to swim with only one tail is very difficult. But the more the sea goat is persisting, the more he's pushing forward, he's going forward, not giving up, the more opportunities are opening up for him. And it has the greater vantage point as well. So Capricorn and this new moon is reminding us that there's always a way forward, that we have to believe in ourselves. And we have the possibility to turn things around sometimes in the most challenging situations. And there's no such a thing that can be impossible. Sometimes the most impossible situations can be solved just by having faith and believing in ourselves and in our powers. And then sometimes things are happening against all odds, but they are still happening because we have the power within. And then on the 23rd of December, we also have Chiron going direct. And Chiron is the wounded healer, is being represented by the wounded inner child, the wounded self. Chiron is an asteroid that is between Saturn and Uranus, and it has been retrograde since July. So now by going direct, it is also reminding us of our potential within, that we are able to turn our difficulties into a talisman of wisdom in a sense. So Chiron in the mythology is a centaur, and the myth goes that Chiron was abandoned at birth and it was left to fend for itself. But because of these challenges that he has experienced in the childhood, he did have the ability to rise up and to turn its wounds into a powerful portal of healing. And through its wounds, it became the powerful teacher, the powerful philosopher, the powerful healer, the physic. And it is reminding us that we all possess those energies that it is possessing, that Chiron is possessing. And because Chiron is the wounded healer, wherever is being placed in our chart, it is telling us what are our wounds that we forever part of our identity. The wounds that will be always there, but it's up to us how we are handling those wounds and what we are turning those wounds into. The poet Rumi says that the wound is where the light enters you. And this is what Chiron is reminding us. It is reminding us that our wounds are also our blessings. Our traumas are our blessings. And that without them, we would not possess those abilities that we are possessing now. We would not be the beam of light for the world without those wounds. So everything that Chiron is about in our chart, it has a great potential to heal as well in this lifetime. And then on the December 29th, there's Mercury going retrograde again in Capricorn. And Mercury retrograde is all about retrospection. It's all about slowing down a little bit. We can feel a little bit foggy, confused, not seeing our way forward, or not having the ability to express ourselves the way we want to express ourselves, to articulate what we really want, to articulate how we feel. But then on the other hand, it does have the potential to shift outdated thought patterns, to get clearer on what we wish to communicate with each other, and then so on. So it's definitely like a retrospective energy. It is ruling, Mercury is ruling communication, is ruling travel. So there might be some interruptions as well in those areas. So if we are experiencing some difficulties in traveling around the end of the year, before the new year, that is because of Mercury retrograde. But it's also necessary because we have the ability to let go of loads of things in terms of our communication as well that were not working, and it can give us this clearer vision in a sense. All right, so I thought to pull a few cards, a few tarot cards maybe, and then obviously I will be doing probably separate videos on my other channel on Esoterica with Evelyn, and then readings about December, and then also I want to do about the solstice as well. But I thought let's pull a few cards now and see what are the themes that will be dominant. So December 2022 main themes in the collective, December 2022. Okay, so we have the World that is reversed. We have the Ace of Emotions reversed as well. We have the Eight of Inspiration upright. We have the Hierophant reversed. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Muse of Emotions, which is the King of Cups. Yeah, the King of Emotions, King of Cups. All right, so the underlying energy is a lot of emotions in the collective. And the King of Cups is representing that energy of aligning with our emotions. So because in this deck it's not very clear when it's coming out reverse or when it's upright, what it's telling us is that it's important to align with our emotions in areas where we feel like we are being afraid of our emotions, to align with them and to face them. So the Muse of Emotions here is representing the two sides of the coin, because we have someone that is mirroring the other side. Okay, so like two individuals there, or maybe one individual that is having two different personalities. So one side of you that is wanting particular things, the other side of you that is afraid of those things, one side of you that is hungry for emotions, that is hungry for nurturing, this nurturing energy of this water energy. The King of Cups is the energy of Cancer. That is a very nurturing energy, actually. That is a very, very sensitive sign. But Cancer sometimes has this side of it. So it has two sides of it, because one side is really nurturing and is really wanting this nurturing energy that is coming from others. But the other side of Cancer, because of this deep sensitivity, is rejecting that particular nurturing energy. So what this card is telling us is that it is time for us to bring these two sides of us together so they can collaborate with each other and they can cooperate, and not to push aside any of them. Okay, so embrace our sensitivity, embrace what we are, embrace the fact that yes, we are craving this nurturing energy, because many of us have not experienced that. And this is reminding us that we should not reject that energy, that we should embrace our sensitivity, our centrality as well, our nurturing powers, our protective energies, which we should not be afraid of them. So it is time for the collective to face those emotions and not to be afraid of those emotions. It is time for us to align with ourselves on a deep level. And I know how Cancers are, because my boyfriend is Cancer. So then I also have in my family Cancer energy. So I know that deep sensitivity that they are having within can be frightening, can be overwhelming, but we need to embrace that, because it is our gift and it's our strength as well. And we are also having the World that was reversed, and the World reversed is talking about a cycle that hasn't ended yet. And we did have the Ace of Emotions next to that, and the Ace of Emotions is always this energy of, again, emotions. It is the energy of the safety net, sometimes of new hope, of new beginnings, of new opportunities that are related to the heart. And that is telling us that there are certain cycles related to the heart, related to our safety net, but then our emotional safety. So this is talking about our emotional safety, and is saying that there are certain cycles that need to end. And we are tying up loose ends in that sense. So we might be experiencing on a collective level a disappointment, a feeling of being let down a little bit by others, by the world, being let down by the world, by the cosmos as well, because this is the word cosmos. So we might be feeling like we are being let down by the universe at large, by God itself. But that is because we have not acknowledged certain emotions. And then the Hierophant reversed, and then the eight of Wands next to it is talking about certain lessons that will be integrated. Those lessons have to be integrated in order for us to expand, in order for us to embrace the world, to end the cycle, to end certain karmic cycles as well. And then sometimes the lessons have to be integrated when we learn certain things to do in a non-traditional way, in an unorthodox way, not in a way that we are being used to. And that can bring in some sudden shifts, and then some great changes, some acceleration, and then rapid transformation, because the Eight of Inspiration is about that, the Eight of Wands. But it's not a sudden change as the Tower it is, that is coming out of nowhere, but it's more like a momentum, like gaining momentum. And we have the energy of the Sun there as well. So there's a lot of galactic upgrade. There's a lot of galactic energy that is supporting us, and that is creating a momentum, like, okay, we need to go forward now. and we need to integrate certain lessons. Okay, so I believe that December will be about momentum, a lot of heartfelt energy as well. But in order to embrace those upgrades and those beams of light codes that are coming in, we need to get aligned with our emotional world. And the next card is the Nine of Voices, which is talking about this overwhelming energy of the mind. So this rapid transformation and the flowing of energies, and then all these things that we are receiving, you know, the upgrades that we are receiving can be very overwhelming for our nervous system. It can trigger some anxiety, it can trigger some fears as well. It can bring up our biggest fears, our biggest nightmares in a sense, because we are being called to transmute those things and to overcome those things. And the Nine of Materials is talking about success, you know, success. And then look at these two cards. There's a liberation after we are integrating those very heavy energies, after we are integrating those shadows. So yeah, December will be about the expansion of the heart, the tapping into our inner wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, and that can guarantee our way forward. So yeah, this is what I wanted to say in today's video, guys. I hope that it resonated. If it did, you can share this message with those that you think that can benefit from it. You can subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe to my other channel, which is called Esoterica with Evelyn. If you want to support my work, you can do it on Patreon, where I'm sharing different readings. And then also, if you want to book a personal reading, then you will find information about that down below in the description box. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for your support, for your beautiful emails. I love you all, and I cannot wait to see you next time.